Shit like that. Shit like that.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out.
Shit like that.
I had to sort something out real quick. All right, so let's chop this up, man. You need to understand. So what's turning delusional? What turning delusional looks like? The reality of chasing rich men. Eat at the table. I recommend y'all subscribe. You know what I mean? I feel like this is a growing platform. My man's, I don't even know his name. I only watched like a couple times, but it's mostly clips. But you know, let's get into this one.
You said that you've gotten these things from other men.
Okay.
Previously,
Yes.
right? Are you with any of them now?
No.
Okay. So I don't know what the reasons might be for them not working. But my question is, if they were giving you...
Yo, I like the timing. Soon as he said, so what the reasons might be why you're not with them anymore, and then they zoomed out.
Bruh.
Come on, man.
You everything that you were asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why didn't you keep them?
So every situation is different, but several of the guys that I've dated in the past, our core fundamental values weren't aligned. And because of that, it just wouldn't have worked out long term. And I feel like those things are more important and very important when you get past the like dating phase, and like, you know, if the main thing, if he's like a certain type of way that you're looking for, it comes down to like, okay, can I build a life with this man? Can I have children with this man? Can I see myself, you know, long term with this man? Do our values line up? And if it doesn't make sense to keep going.
So okay, we're going down the road, just letting you know.
Okay.
So what are the values, the core values that you're seeking and realistically, you know, want for your spouse to have?
I want him to be a family man. Like, you know, he wants to, you know, have children. He wants to have a family.
I mean, she right. She's saying that the superficial shit no longer mattered, and then their core values didn't line up. So now I agree with that. So far, so good, I guess. You know what I mean? And her core values ended. You know what I mean? So, oh no, I think she's about to go through them now. Let's see.
Family. He has a relationship with God. He, you know, we vibe. Like, he makes me laugh. You know, we have like chemistry. We enjoy each other's company. Like, he is a provider, a protector. You know, he's always dating me, pursuing me. He's always doing things that make a relationship, you know, last longer than just if you just stop putting into the effort. So I guess
I hope she got a great personality, man. That's it. I hope she got a great personality.
Someone who's consistent, someone who's putting in effort, someone who wants to be there, wants to be in the relationship. That's the kind of things that I look for in a man.
Okay, so it's all right. I'm going with my own theory. So now, this is what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong. We can discuss this too. This is where I think sometimes the delusion sets in, is when your core values is really what you want, because you've had not you specifically, I'm just speaking in general, right? The core values is really what people are looking for to sustain a long-term relationship, but they're leading with the tangibles that are technically, you know, subjective. Because if I can possess all these tangible things, you know, take you on a trip or do whatever and take you to this restaurant, buy you clothes and pay for your hair and nails, but I don't align with God, or I'm not a family man, then I still don't work for you. So I think what we got to do, and people who are in this spot, in this place where...
Well, the key is she didn't say all of it was necessarily non-negotiable, but she does want the core values to align. Did she mean every single one? Because his point is valid if she meant every single one, but I doubt that people assume that everybody's going to meet every single core value. Now, I guess if it's core, then it should be non-negotiable, but some things aren't as important as others. Let's go.
Everyone is using the social media to kind of, you know, showcase who they are. Is be more in depth with who you are, right? Because if I say, hey, you know what? I want a woman who is a a good motherly woman for kids, and she's family oriented, and such and such.
Mhm.
I think that limits the backlash, because I can't live with a girl who's not a family oriented woman, right?
Okay.
But I can date a girl who is a bad B. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But like she's only temporary, just as is the things that you're asking for the man. So now my question to you, to make it full circle, is, given that your dating history, if you had those things and it didn't work out, do you feel as if your expectations were in the wrong place?
No.
Okay.
And I don't think so, because it
She why all blue though?
Bruh.
eventually the man that I end up with, the man that I marry, will be able to fulfill those requirements. So
See, this the shit that I hate hearing. Fulfill those requirements. Also, everything was me, date me, this, that, and the third. Now I get what she wants. So I guess that makes sense. But this whole like you hiring somebody, I feel like that's the wrong path to go. I don't know. Let's go.
I feel like I'm wasting a man's time if he doesn't agree with it. Because I feel like you said my values are what I want. Yes, this is what I want. So a man who wants to date me and is, and I let them know, because I'm very upfront, I'm very straightforward. I don't like to be, deceitful or beat around the bush. Like, you know what you're getting, because I'm very out there with it, because I don't want to waste his time and be disingenuous. I feel like I'm being.
Ladies, answer this question for me. Is her rib supposed to be out? Like, is it supposed to be out? I don't know. I never wore that type of shirt before. So is her size supposed, like, that's how it's supposed to look, right?
My genuine self when I let you know, like, this is what I like and this is what I want.
I think what happens is people try to set the bar high, right? They set the bar high to protect themselves, and they set the bar high because if I can at least get this, if this doesn't work out, I still got something out of it. But realistically, the bar being set high is really disregarding and dismissing what you need and trying to replace it with what you want.
What do I need?
What you need is a family man. What you need is all the reasons for why the guy who possessed all the tangible things gave you but didn't work out. Those missing elements are the actual necessities, because if he possessed those, I'm assuming he would probably still be here.
Yes, you're right. And this is, yeah, exactly.
And then also, just on top of that point, she said men plural met some criteria but not all. So all of those men criteria, or was she being were her priorities not in order?
It didn't work out because he wasn't that family man that I'm
Okay, so they speaking about somebody specifically at this point.
looking for. But, and I'm gonna ask you, how do you determine in a dating relationship if he is going to be that person for you? Because I've dated guys who don't have money and who don't match the requirements. They can't give me those. They can't provide for me in that way. They're definitely family men, but I'm thinking about, okay, like, I'm gonna have to go to work. I'm gonna have to, like, bring the bread home. I'm gonna have to, like, take care of us, because he's a nice guy and he's a family guy and maybe he's a good father, but he's not a provider. And that puts me in a really bad position to be the provider.
Okay? Is it okay?
So provider, I guess in this day and age, the I think the definition has changed. It is very difficult for anybody with a family to provide without two incomes, to sustain, to grow, to be able to save without two incomes, based on inflation and just the world today. So I'm just wondering, is she saying that she prefers the provider over man, but she led with family man initially? But I think that money gonna start talking. All right, let's go.
Okay for a man to be, I'm just asking him, this is his opinion. Actually, ladies, is it okay for a man to be a good husband, a good father, and not a financial provider?
No.
I think it depends. I'll say it's subjective.
I'm just acting. I'm
Yeah.
asking personal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm answering. I think it's subjective, because
See, Here we go, man.
Bruh.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
This
Shit
is
like
what
that.
grinds
Shit
my
like that.
gears.
Shit
When
like
you
that.
add so much subjectivity, how authentic and how fruitful is the conversation for people listening? Because what happens is if you make everything subjective, now you don't something, and then it's to each its own. We can't keep doing that. We keep perpetuating that where everybody just doing their own thing. We one of the people in this earth that do not come together. We stay divided. I just put up a post. I said, man, I admire the LGBTQ movement because they have effectuated so much change that took black people hundreds of years. Now, obviously, there's different factors, but so many years to obtain it. Sound like, hey, they banded together, they're getting it done, right? Objective in some which way. Somebody you have to agree and then go. But subjectivity allows us not to agree, and everybody's supposed to be okay with it.
Someone who may not be able to provide financially for you can be all these other great things, and that is okay for you. But it might not be okay for me, for her, or for her. You know.
Okay, thanks. Like, come on, man.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
Any and everything. I hate that shit. That's why this might be risky. We got to stand on something. Let's go.
And I'm gonna be honest. Y'all already know why I stand. So there's no guessing game. And to be honest, even when I was young and I was dating, I'm not even gonna say that because it doesn't sound good. I'll tell y'all off camera.
Bruh. Wow.
Scary ass.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, if someone, if economics and like financial status or whatever, if that's important to me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna limit who I talk to. You know, and for some people, limiting like your options may not work for you, but it worked for me. You know, and the only reason I limited my options because I already knew that I wasn't going to be comfortable in a situation where, you know, yeah, somebody could treat me nice and be loving and caring and this and that, but you can't take me on a date. Nope. You can't put gas in my car.
So he can be loving and caring and this and that. He can't take you on a date. He can't put gas in your car. I just feel like loving and caring should be priority over. And it's not to say that this man not working, but can he pay 80%, 70% of the bills? Maybe not. But the equality button has been pushed several times. So what if it's 50-50? Right? What if you put your gas in your own car, but he's loving and caring? Because that's what I feel like women been asking for and shit. Now let's see what else she got to say, because she already didn't say something, man.
Bruh. Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
Talking about she gonna say it off camera. Why you bring it up so fast?
You can't fly us somewhere, you know, for an anniversary. You know, these are like real talk. These are kind of basic things. Let's take the whole plane thing out of it. A date. You know, like we talk about this. You know, like when you go to therapy or something, they'll say have a date night. You know, and let's just say that date night is at your house, but the lights cost, the gas cost, the water cost, the champagne cost, the cooking oil cost, the steak cost, everything. So you need money. And I really think it's like it's real bullshit that people act like money is not important.
Yeah.
It's important. How important is it? And then how much of the workload, the money load are you willing to share? Because a lot of women nowadays want to act like they want to share it and everything, except for the bills. Let's go.
Money is important.
It's the money. It's when it's not about, and I agree. Listen, you need money regardless, especially here, right? Now, it's not about the money. It's about the expectations and the level and the amount of money that you're requiring. See, that's when things become delusional. A $500 dinner twice a week. Now you're spending $50,000 a year.
That's kind of crazy.
I was
you came out nowhere with who's that?
I mean, I'm sure
A $500 dinner is, but here's the thing. Think about it. I've been to dinners. You've been to dinners, right? If we go to Ocean Prime, that bill is going to cost $400. That's another $80 tip at least.
Twice a week?
But if you go on a Monday and a Friday, You go on a Friday and a Saturday. Maybe you don't go to dinner, but let's say you do something, right? It's still a lot, right?
But some men can do that and not even bother them.
But that's not the point that I'm making. The point is that I'm saying is first and foremost when you're starting to
hold on, let me
negotiate.
Let me see.
Dinner, but let's say you do something, right? It's still a lot, right?
But some men can do that and not even bother them.
But that's not the point that I'm making. The point is that I'm saying is first and foremost when you're starting to negotiate, right, expensive livings, you already put yourself in a very small percentile of men that you have available.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you have to look at what is realistically your odds. Now, I'm just gonna be blunt.
Please do.
Then you have to consider how you look, right, and what those men are wanting.
Mhm.
If those men in this area are wanting black women, then white women, you might be asked out.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. If they want a skinny woman or a thick woman, it depends. Like now you have to really, really weigh out all of the variables for this small percentile, and then you have to be like, okay, I really have a 1 to 2% odds in this country. And then on top of that, the crazy thing is they still might treat you bad. And they still might not be a family man. And they still might possess the core values that you're looking for. And you're going back at it again.
What's the alternative?
So the brother made a good point. And he tried to be diplomatic, but he did say it. So I appreciate that, man.
Shit like that.
'Cause
Shit
it
like that.
matters.
Shit like that.
So
Shit like that.
how
shit
you
like
look,
that.
and then you chasing this very small pool of men, and then your aesthetic is going to matter a whole lot. Arguably the most to that man. And then he can still treat you like shit, but at least he has money. But he might not have all those other values. But money has seemed to be made it to the precipice. And hey, rightfully so, I guess, right? Provisions matter the most to women. It sounds like from what I'm hearing right here. But let's see what else you're gonna say. Let's go.
Providing for my family, busting my ass at work to try to make the bills and take care of the kids, and while he does what? Sit at home? Like,
No.
what's the alternative here? Because I'm not willing.
I'm not
I'm not willing to do that. I just feel like my life would be harder if I did that. If I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna take this guy because he's a cool dude, and like, you know, he doesn't have money. I'm gonna have to come with the money, but he's a great guy. That puts a lot of.
Are they saying boy not working? He got to be working.
Stress on me, and that makes me have to walk into my masculine the whole rest of my life. I got to be the man.
How much money is good enough for you? And I'm gonna tell you how delusional we are.
I actually think, hold on, before you answer, I don't even think that it's a dollar amount. I think is what you bring in, how you manage your money, how you spend your money.
I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Anybody want to join once I finish? We only got a few minutes. If somebody got some other ideas or opinions regarding this video.
Which I feel like we're going back to the point of just being able to provide. So like Aaron said, it's not the dollar amount, but it's like whatever you have with whatever dollar amount you bring.
Listen,
what are you doing?
You want to argue semantics? Because we could do that. Because I can say right now, do all three of you are willing to live in an 800 square foot apartment the rest of your life?
In what city?
In Brooklyn.
See, Brooklyn isn't even a part of my life. It would never be.
I'm
so
just
it's not
saying.
even
No. Here's the thing. We can argue semantics.
You just asked a question. In what city? And then you dismiss the city. See, that's playing games. He's right. Because he put a city, right, where 800 square foot apartment might make sense. But also you got to have some money to live in that 800 square foot apartment in Brooklyn. See, she didn't take the entire perspective. She's just talking about Brooklyn isn't a thing for me. Shut up.
And then and thank you for being genuine. We can argue semantics, but when you want to talk about it, no woman is saying, hey, look, I'm willing to. Now I'm going to say no. A lot of women are not saying, hey, I want to be in an 800 square foot apartment because he provides all the bills for that. And it's only $2,000 a month.
But listen to this.
So now no, wait. Because I want to get to the question.
You paused. I didn't know.
I got you. I want to get to this question because I want to be real. So how much money is enough for you?
It depends on how many kids we have, but
okay.
it depends on.
Let's give 0 for right now, unless if you have kids right now. Whatever your current
I'm
situation.
single with no kids. If anybody's wondering.
Yeah. So no.
We not.
I'm on the market. I have no ring on this finger.
Wow.
Just putting that out there. My
Nice
DMs
little
are
promo.
open.
That's gonna be your thumbnail.
So right now he has to make 6 figures. He has to make over 100,000.
So 112. Is that cool?
And so
After taxes.
What I want men to do is
Yo. Let me. I gotta make sure I put her on the screen. Hold on. Let me see.
You said that you've got.
Where is she?
To keep going.
All right. Please understand this. $100,000 threshold is still 10% of men. I doubt that these women are dating outside their race because most black women don't. I think the stat is 93% do not. So 10% of men. And then you cut that 10% into what? 3% being black. So it's just unrealistic that every single woman out here is gonna find some man that's making over 100,000. Right? What's the average income for black men is 40, I think it's 44,000. So this delusion, right? It gotta come into a right frame of reference because it's not making sense. So you got all this criteria that you want to check. But the man that makes 100,000, he got to be disciplined too. So let's keep it a buck, right? Look at homegirl. She seemed okay. Like she seemed like how a black woman was seen being average. But she kind of heavy though. So one is the top 10% man, right? Looking for a heavy set woman. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? No. Because he got more options. Because like they just portrayed, the money matters. The money matters a lot. And so if all women have similar criteria, right, and his money is put at the top of his totem pole, why would he pick her? Right? Why would he pick her? She seemed humble enough. You know what I mean? I think she thinks she more fly than what she actually is, but she seemed humble enough. But one thing that men do care about for women is their aesthetic. That might be the top of the totem pole. See, weight on a woman, right? It could be some hereditary effects, genetic effects, so on and so forth. But it's not just because you're heavy, right? Men assume it also shows a lack of discipline. So if you have a top 10% earner, he got to be disciplined. He got to be willing to go get it. He got to put his head down, right? He has to have a particular fortitude to get to that point. So what make him pick you when one, your aesthetic is super important, and secondly, if you are heavy set or overweight, to us it also shows a lack of discipline. My man Joe, shout out to Joe, shout out to DJ Bully in the building. When did anyone ever tell someone how much they make after taxes? Nobody asked that question. Even when you buy your house right now, debt to income ratio, of course, but generally speaking, everybody speaks in the gross, right? So if 112,000, she like after taxes, you already said he got to make 6 figures, so that's 100K. So if you take home 112,000, what is that? $240,000 a year you making? 200,000 a year you making? Like they ain't even thinking. They just talking, man. That's a good point, bro.
Shit like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, Joel's right. Everybody speaks in gross. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see that. Everybody knows that. When you're buying a car, when you're doing this, they ask you for your gross income, right? Because everybody's expenses are so much different. even. So even if you gave, the net off your check, it's just too many factors. So we just want to know how valuable are you? How much were they willing to pay you? When you're going into different places to get a loan or a car loan, so on and so forth. But the delusion comes when women, right? You don't meet that just standard criteria for most men, let alone top 10% men. And I think the key is, if you look at the poll question I put in the chat, it said, are men responsible for women thinking that they better than what they are? And the answer is yes, because women tie us want to have sex with them as them being attractive. When the truth is, cats be just hitting anything, right? Especially depending on your age, depending on what time of day it is or at night, right? Him trying to have sex, you don't even mean that he even got to be attracted to you. But women think because men want to have sex with them, they are attractive. And that's the thing that we kind of need to, you guys got to thoroughly understand. Like, sex don't really mean shit to men overall. There's some exceptions, of course, but overall, it don't mean much in terms of just trying to get your nut off. And so you got Smurf up here. At 3 a.m., she might be getting phone calls, but I bet you she's not getting as many phone calls. The other girl was a little bit cuter. So her phone, I'm just using them as an example, right? Her phone might ring at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., right? Same dude calling both of them. He might call the girl in the brown at 9, 9:30, 10. Oh, what you doing? So on and so forth, right? That don't land. Guess what he gonna do? He gonna call Mama Smurf at 2, 3 a.m. Like, fuck it, my last resort. And she think because she getting that phone call, it mean that she look good or that add to her value. No, you just the last option. Don't tie sex with thinking that you're attractive. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And Joel said, if you make 112K after taxes, is 185K before. Word. So I was far as hell off.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come
I said 250K. So yeah, 185, right? But she just asking questions. Like, there was no logic behind her saying that, Joe, right? Her saying what's she say, after tax or before taxes? Like, that's 185. What is that's top 1%, right? Top 1-2% earner. Your chances are slim to none. Average women range between a 4 and a 6. 90% of us are average. 90%. Everything that you think make you an 8 don't make you an 8. It makes you the 4 that you already were. Right? 5 is cool. 6 is cute. Right? 7, I feel like, is a safe number, but 7 is cute. 5 is cute. 4 can be cute. Right? It's only 1 through 10. But all that shit that you think make you a 8 or make you a 10, it doesn't. We don't even like it like that. That stuff that you guys put on the pedestal, we don't care. Joel said, I doubt she knows how much 112,000 is after taxes. Oh, that's a fact. Bro, I don't even know what I bring home after tax. Maybe I should. But things like, you look at your gross, and that's what you even negotiate, right? To Joel's point, you negotiate the gross. You ask for 120,000, 130,000, 140,000. Nobody goes in there and say, hey, I want my net to be X. We all say, hey, my gross salary, I would like it to be 100 and whatever it's going to be a year. But the truth is, nobody even is going in there saying it's going to be 100 and whatever it's going to be a year. Because the average man, the average black man is making $40,000, $20 an hour. In most parts of the country, I would say most, you might be able to live decently. DC, California, New York. I think Atlanta still might be kind of affordable. Maybe not. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. It's tough. I saw this graph. It said you have to make, if you make minimum wage in DC, I think it was like $15. I think they predicated it on. You have to work like 120 hours a week to get above the poverty line. And so I get it. It's a concern, but the average man is making 40 G's. So he gonna need your help in contributing. So in knowing that, find a man that can be loving and caring, and that's gonna be a family man and go hard for you, as opposed to trying to find a top 10 to 1% earner who don't need to value you because he got so many options. I think that's the brother's point. I gotta find my man name too. I like how he doing it. I think he a little bit too nice, but I feel like he can get at him if he needs to. But yeah, just measure it out. Like equality, pushing for it. Want to be less submissive, they want to have a partnership. So if you want to have a partnership, this makes a lot more sense. That he's gonna make what he's gonna make, let's say 60 grand, which is, I think he's doing okay. And if you bring in 60 or 80 grand too, now boom, look, now y'all up, y'all doing y'all thing together, because all men aren't gonna qualify to provide all the provisions, not in today's age. You know what I'm saying? Which is okay. If you're looking for a partnership, because when you're looking for a partnership, you can do and act the ways that you do and act, right? You can put your degrees on a pedestal. You can argue your husband down. You can question all the decisions. You can even be the leader in that situation. And partnership might be what makes sense for most people. Don't mean it's a lack of respect and things of that nature, but it might make the most sense, right? And I know all quote unquote alpha and all this shit, but you may not qualify. You may got to work your way to that, right? And you could start out here with your wife, and then if she want to be a helpmeet, boom, you building up, and then you get to that precipice, right, where you making 6 figures and you can provide more, and she don't have to work as hard, right? Then maybe the dynamic can change. But if you need to start out working this thing together to get this shit popping, do so. It's not a bad thing. Joel says, but is a woman really checking for a man that makes the same amount she does? No. Women are naturally hypergamous, right? So they looking for something that elevates them, a man that elevates them. So no, and I think that's a good point. And I'm just saying that maybe they should. Because this grandiose man that you're looking for that's 6 feet and making 6 figures is slim to none. I say this stat all the time. 14.5% of the population of men are 6 feet and over. 14%. So the rest of the men that aren't in that 14% are not 6 feet. And then if you want to dwindle that down to the people who are making 100K, they chasing this little pool of men. It is said that it's I think 18% of men having sex with 20% of the women. That's why it's like 3 times more women have babies than men. They all chasing the same dudes. Why am I settle for Mama Smurf? It doesn't make sense. Dope, man. Hey, listen. Once again, this channel is called, let me just make sure, I want to give my brother his props. 8 at the table. What turning delusional looks like, the reality of chasing rich men. It's dope, man. I like chopping this one up for sure. Yeah, man, we're gonna do live reactions every time I feel like it. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna drop the link in the chat. If anybody want to pop on, if they got a difference of opinion, they want to help review the video, we can do all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, good work. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we out.